Hi everyone, I'm Sharon Smith. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can match colors in Microsoft Word. I'm going to show you two ways to do that. I'm also going to show you how you can use gradient fills to change the color in your shapes in Microsoft Word, as well as how to use shape effects like shadows. This is the second video in a series of how to create letterhead in Microsoft Word, so be sure and check out the other videos in that series if you're interested in creating letterhead. I have the templates that we use in this series available for purchase, and I'll include a link in the description below. Let's get started. Here we are in Microsoft Word. We're in a print preview of this other letterhead design that we have. And today what we're going to look at is how to match colors. So if you have a branded color or an exact color that you want to include on your design, you're able to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and back out of the print preview, and I'm going to come down here to the bottom. I'm going to double click down here in the header and footer area so I can access this color down here. So if I have a color that I want to exactly match, there's two ways I'm going to show you how to do this today. One is using Microsoft PowerToys Color Picker. So if you have Windows 10 or 11, you can download and install PowerToys and use this color picker. So I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. So once you have that installed, all you have to do is use your keyboard shortcut to access the color picker. I'm going to come out here to a website, and this has some of the colors on my thumbnails and a color that I want to match on my letterhead. So what I'm going to do is hit the keyboard shortcut for the color picker, and it's just the Windows key plus Shift and C. So I'm going to hit that. And what that does is it turns my mouse, you can see my mouse here, and I can hover anywhere I want on a screen. So this can be on a website, it can be in any application. You just hover over the color that you want to match. So if I click on this pink area here, it will open up this area here for the color picker, and it gives me the hex number for that pink color. So I can actually select that and hit Control C to copy, or I can just hit copy right here and it'll copy it to my clipboard. The nice thing about this is it also gives you some other gradients of that color. So if you wanted a little bit darker shade or some other colors in that same palette, you can choose that as well. It gives you the RGB and the HSL. So I just copied the hex there. And then what I'm going to do is come back over into Microsoft Word, and I'm going to select the element that I want to change the color, and I'm just going to close out of that right quick, and then I'm going to come up to the shape format, and then on the shape fill I'm going to drop down and click on more fill colors. I'm going to come over here to the custom tab, and I'm going to paste that hex number. So I'm just going to hit Control V to paste, hit enter, and now I have matched that exact color using the PowerToys Color Picker. Now, if for some reason I don't have access, or you don't have access to PowerToys, there is a workaround. I'm going to show you how you can do that using an eyedropper tool that you can find in PowerPoint. So then all you have to do is open up PowerPoint. You have a blank PowerPoint here, and we will go over to the website where we have the color that we want to select. I'm going to just access the snipping tool. If you don't have that on your dashboard, all you have to do is type snipping tool here and search for that and select your snipping tool. Your snipping tool will come up, and then you can just take a snip of the element that contains the color that you want to match. And we're going to go back into PowerPoint, and we're going to right click and paste that in there. Then while we have that selected, we can come up to, we're going to go to right click, click on Format Picture, and we're going to come over here to the fill area. And then we're going to click on Solid Fill, and then I'm going to come over here to the color area, and notice that we have this eyedropper tool. So I'm going to select the eyedropper, and then I'm going to come over and select the area or the color that I want to match and just click. And then what that does is it adds the color over here, and what I can do is then access that over in More Colors on the Custom tab. Here I can copy that hex number, hit Control C, then I can come back over into my Word document, select the element that I want to change the color, come up to the shape fill, and our color is actually there for us, so we can pick it, or if we wanted to, if we needed to, we could come over to custom and paste that color in there and click OK. and it will update and change that color so that you can exactly match colors. So that's 2 ways that you can exactly match a color from another application on your desktop. So now what I want to show you real quick is how we can do a gradient fill using different colors. So I'm going to select this element here, and I'm going to go to right click and click on Format Shape. And over here in the fill area, I'm going to click on Gradient Fill. Now notice I'd have different gradient stops here, and I just want to have 2. I want to blend a color, and all I have to do is select this and hit delete to delete the different gradients in the middle, and then I can select an actual color for both ends of the gradient fill here. So if I want to, I can come over here and I can pick one of the colors that I matched, and then over here what I can do is come over to color, and what I want to do there is click on more colors, and I can adjust this to be in the same palette and click OK, and then this gives this a gradient over here. It'll go from one color to the other, and so you can adjust that over here on the gradient stops. You also have different types of gradients that you can play around with. I'm going to leave this as linear, but there's also radial and different types that you can select and play around with. So that's how you can adjust the colors in your gradient fill on your letterhead document. Now to add the drop shadow to your shape, all you have to do is have it selected. Notice I have a drop shadow here on the right. All we have to do is come up on the Format Shape area, click on Effects, and then under the Shadow Presets, drop down, and I've got the upper one here. It's the bottom right offset for a shadow. And so if we want to add a shadow to another image, all we have to do is select that image, come up over here to our presets, and let's say we want to add the shadow to the top left. So I'm going to select this one, and it adds that shadow and gives your shape or your image more dimensions. So notice you've got lots of different outer, inner, and perspective shadows that it can add to your images and shapes. You can also get to that menu if you're on Shape Format. Just come over here to Shape Effects, hover over the shadow area, and you've got the same options there. Be sure and watch the other videos in the Letterhead series so you'll learn how to create Letterhead from scratch, as well as how to get your graphics into your headers and footers, and then get your document ready to publish or print. If you found this video helpful, be sure and give it a thumbs up, to like it, and share it with your friends. Be sure and subscribe to my channel and click the bell to receive a notification every time I post a new video. Visit my website, SharonSmithHR.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.